All right. Hello, everyone, and thanks for attending today's training workshop on the core principle of your digital presence, which is optimizing your website for better conversions. I want to just go ahead and jump right in. We got a lot to cover today. This is one of the workshops that we do that really has the most information because there's just so much to do when it comes to optimizing your website. How do you optimize it for maximum conversions, maximum lead flow? This is also part of your overall 2024 internet marketing plan. Earlier this year, we took a look at the big picture of your internet marketing strategy from your website to SEO to pay-per-click, social media, Google local service ads, retargeting ads, and kind of everything in between. So what we're going to do throughout the course of this year is to keep drilling down into specific aspects of that overall marketing plan. All of this really fits into the overall ecosystem of what we call our digital dominance method. My goal is to make you aware of these individual marketing channels, as well as various tactics and strategies that will help you improve your overall digital presence. The foundation of your internet marketing strategy is really to make sure that you have a great website that's built to convert and that's ranking in the non-paid listings on page one of Google and the other search engines, of course. This way, you can get as much organic, low-cost traffic to your website as possible without having to go deep into your budget paying for expensive ads on Google or Facebook or Yelp, where we all know ads are a lot more expensive. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is really how to maximize conversions on your website and performing at its full potential. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you don't mind, turn off your cell phones, close out your Facebook. If you're really serious about double or tripling the amount of leads that you get for your remodeling or home improvement company this year, let's give this next 60 minutes or so our undivided attention and our complete focus. So I have a workbook prepared for you that you can download now. Go ahead and go to this link in your internet browser, download the workbook, print it out, and then we'll be able to take notes and fill in some action items as we go. While you download that, I'm going to share a little bit more about who I am and my experience just to give you a little chance to download that. So just, real quick, who I am, I'm an industry partner in marketing consultant for NARI, the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, as well as the NAHB, the National Association of Home Builders, which the Denver Home Builders Association and the Colorado Home Builders Association is part of, as well as being an industry partner with the NKBA, the National Kitchen and Bath Association. So we contribute as much value and education and content as we can for them. I'm also a former home remodeler and custom home developer and real estate developer, having been involved in building some $1 million custom homes here in Denver, as well as being active in the fix and flip market. I'm also the author of Internet Marketing for Contractors and Builders, How to Triple Your Sales by Getting Your Internet Marketing Right. If you haven't read the book, I highly recommend you check it out. It kind of unpacks our overall digital marketing strategy. If you don't have a copy of the book and you'd like to get a copy, just put a comment in chat and we'll reach out and I'll mail you one free of charge, no obligation, just some light reading to put you to sleep at night. But I really want you to have as much knowledge as possible when it comes to marketing your company online. I'm widely accepted as one of the top experts in the internet marketing for remodelers, builders, and home improvement companies. More importantly, though, is I've had a chance to work with countless remodeling and home improvement companies across the country, and we've been able to take them, some of them from virtually no placement online, maybe even no website to even start with, to the point where now they're the dominant player in their respective markets, maybe making several $1 million, clients in the 10, 20, $30 million mark even. I'm a self-admitted computer geek. That's how I learned a lot of this stuff, is just really geeking out on it. Learned how to write website code back in the mid to late 80s. And so, everything to digital, concerning digital marketing really comes pretty natural to me. And so what I share, about internet marketing, about SEO, about your website, it's not based on theory. It's based on my experience working with companies just like yours in the remodeling, new construction, home improvement services trades. At this point, we've worked with enough companies that we have access to all those analytics and all that data. So we really know down to the click how things will convert, what has a bigger impact on conversions, what works best. And so that's what I'm going to be going through to share with you over the course of this training session. So let's dive right in. I always like to start with a problem remodeling and home improvement companies are facing. There's no sense sitting in on a session like this about website optimization if there's not a problem to be solved. And the issue, as I see it, is that you guys in this space as a whole, you make a big investment in marketing. Unlike some other industries, you guys spend a lot of money typically in internet marketing because the ROI is there, or at least it's supposed to be, right? You do SEO, you do pay-per-click, you've tried the big box marketing companies, and then the little companies, or the guy across the street, or maybe the guy that sits in on your B&I group who's trying to market for every industry out there. But you know that in order to keep the phones ringing, to keep your crews busy and happy, to keep business really going strong, you have to make an investment. And you guys are not shy about making that investment with your internet marketing strategy when it makes sense. Yeah, but oftentimes you get some web traffic, you're spending all this money, you're investing in SEO and pay-per-click, and you get a bunch of traffic, but not enough leads end up coming from that traffic, right? Essentially, not enough phone calls are coming in. In a lot of cases, there's a low return on investment, right? You spend thousands of dollars in pay-per-click and you get, thousands of dollars worth of revenue back, or maybe, even a little bit more than a few thousand. But that's not really enough to cover all your expenses, maybe. It's not enough to have the profitability that you're looking for to really grow your company. And that's what I really think is the biggest potential problem is you wind up with an empty schedule and downtime for your employees or your subcontractors. One of the biggest challenges in your world right now is getting good qualified craftsmen, right? Let me know in the comments if you agree on that. One of the biggest struggles you have isn't really getting the phone to ring necessarily. It isn't generating leads. Maybe you have enough of those. It's really finding good quality good tradesmen, keeping them trained, keeping them busy throughout the day, and keeping them from looking for work elsewhere. They start going to some of your competitors that can keep their schedule more full. You may end up losing them. So, just to hear, yes or absolutely, yes, this is a problem. This is one of the big challenges we're facing. Since I hear this over and over, I'm just kind of looking for some comments, some feedback from you guys over here in chat. Yep. Yep, Bob, we would love to grow our company, but we can't find enough qualified people that want to put in the work. Yeah, sounds familiar, right? Yeah, a lot of people got some yeses, got another yep, definitely a problem. So, no doubt that is a legitimate concern for all of you guys. So if you're spending a bunch of money in marketing and you're not generating enough leads, the biggest challenge is the opportunity cost of a craftsman that you hire, that you recruit, that you train, not having enough jobs to really cover their expenses and or keep them busy enough to make the kind of money that they need to make to feed their family. And then you end up losing those quality employees to another bigger competitor of yours. And so if you can't solve for this, you're going to have some big problems down the line, right? If you can't convert the visitors that come to your website at the highest level possible, then you're not going to be able to generate enough leads to keep growing. And so here's the opportunity, really the opportunities to make sure that you've got a great website, not just a pretty website, because we all want to be impressive, we all want to look good, but we really want a great website that's built to convert, that takes those people that get to the site and converts them into actual callers, actual potential customers for you, not just website visitors. Really what we want is to be able to consistently convert our traffic from, whatever source, SEO, pay-per-click, social media. Someone sees one of your trucks and types in your website when into their mobile phone as they're at a stoplight or something. We want to be able to convert those visitors into actual callers, into leads, in other words, at the highest level possible. And when we do that, we can have a full schedule with all your crews staying busy and consistent growth and momentum in our businesses, always moving forward and taking our companies to that next level. And that's really what I think the opportunity is, to get the phones ringing, all your crews and subcontractors happily working, staying busy, and just making sure that your businesses are booming. So here's the deal. Your company website, it's the hub of everything you do. Whether you realize it or not, your customer, before they call for your service, before they do business with you, for the most part, they're taking out their phone and they're typing in something like kitchen remodeling company in your city, whatever that may be, or design build contractor in my area, or home remodeler near me. They're ending up at your website, either on their desktop or on their mobile phone, typically mobile. And whether that was because they saw your pay-per-click ad, or potentially maybe even they heard one of your radio ads you were running, or they saw one of your trucks go by, they're going to wind up on your website. And if your website isn't compelling, and if it doesn't convert at the highest level possible, it really brings down the effectiveness of all the other advertising that you do as a company. You lose some of that branding, that brand recognition and credibility. And so that's why I start here as it relates to your internet marketing strategy here on your website, because your website is the hub. Everything flows through the website. We have to make sure that it's as dialed in as possible, and to make sure it's not only attracting your target audience, but also converting those visitors into real leads. And so I just want to draw an illustration of why conversion is so important. And so, here's a scenario. Let's just say that your remodeling or home builder website gets 500 visitors per month. Maybe for you it's 500 a year, but that's irrelevant. Let's just talk about 500 visits, and you get your average conversion rate is between, say, 5 and 10%. Not great. Really using a very conservative number here, just for the sake of it. Let's just say you're averaging 5% of the visitors that get to your website end up calling in. This is not like turning necessarily into customers, just 5% calling in and getting that consult going. And so that would mean for those 500 visitors at a 5% conversion rate, you generate 25 leads out of that. And let's say your conversion rate from phone call to book job is 30%. So about 1 out of 3, pretty standard for the industry. Ideally, we'd like to see a higher rate than that as well, but use a conservative number. We know that not everyone can even hit 30%. So let's kind of drive this point home with a conservative number. That would mean for those 500 visitors, you actually generated 8 booked jobs. And if your average ticket value is $75,000, I know a lot of you guys on here that I see have a much higher ticket value than this, especially if you're doing the high-end remodeling, $1 million jobs, or the custom homes, which could drive your average transaction value into 6-7 figures. But even if just conservatively it was $75,000 average transaction value, you generate $600,000 in booked revenue from those 500 visitors. But now, if we can just make a couple tweaks, a couple improvements to our website, and really to get it convert at a better level without spending any additional dollars on advertising. So we're not spending any more money. We're just making some tweaks to get better conversion rates. We can take that same traffic of 500 visitors, that same flow of visitors that are getting to our website, and now let's say we just convert them at a 15% conversion rate. And what I mean by that is you're just converting them into a caller, or to submit that web form, someone that you can actually engage with and interact with. And we have clients that are converting at 25, 30, even 35%. So 15% conversion is very doable, especially when you dial this in, and you can get a much better conversion rate. But just by improving from 5 to 15%, not a huge unrealistic jump, right? We're talking about the same amount of traffic here, 500 visitors, generate 75 calls now instead of 25 calls. How many of you guys would like to have 75 calls versus 25 in a month, right? Pretty obvious rhetorical question. Same amount of visitors, but now you're converting at a higher level. You get, you keep that conversion rate up. Now you've got 23 booked jobs instead of the 8 jobs, same average transaction value. And now you're generating 1.725 million in revenue as opposed to $600,000 in revenue. Basically, almost tripling the amount of revenue just by slightly improving the conversion rate on your website. And of course, you can improve your conversion rate and you can improve your average transaction value. When you do that, the more jobs you got coming in, you can raise prices. You don't have to be afraid of, oh God, do I raise prices and I lose visitors? You're going to have so much traffic coming in. You're going to be converting at a higher level. Now you're seeing multiples in revenue growth that can really start to look different for the future trajectory of your business. And so we want to take that conversion rate and maximize it, get it to the point where it converts visitors from whatever source that we're talking about here at the very highest level possible, because then that has that ripple effect and the ramifications across all the advertising that you do in your business. And so just showing you an example of the impact that conversions can actually have without putting, any other paid search or other marketing channels in place besides your SEO program. A case that we use is Classic Remodeling, home remodeling design build firm in Seattle. They've been with us for, gosh, I don't know, 5, 7 years, something like that. Great company. We've had the opportunity to work with them going on, a long time now, from when we first started working with them. A very basic website, probably typical a lot of other home remodeling websites that are out there, but stock photos, technical jargon about their services, maybe not even having all their services on separate pages, things like that. But then, updating the website, brightening it up a bit, adding some conversion elements like calls to action throughout, real photos of the owners, Sedora and Ward Hampson, real photos of their work, great before and after gallery pics, things like that that are real, that really humanize the website. It makes for a lot more interest and more resonation for people. It just resonates with them more when they see that the real authentic stuff. And so averaging 100 visitors per month, we rolled out their updated version of their website without driving more traffic through paid ads or doing anything else. Their website visitors increased to almost 600 visitors per month, and their call volume increased from about 5 calls per month to around 25 calls per month currently. And so that's what's really possible when we get our website dialed in, when we make sure that they're built to convert. In other words, improve conversions, maximize your incoming lead flow, and improve your traffic sources by ranking better on Google, getting that better visibility, right? Driving more paid traffic, maybe with a good website that's built to convert from those paid ads when they're going to come check you out and get reinforcement on what kind of company you are, the kind of work you're doing. It's really going to multiply your results over time. So I just kind of wanted to leave you with that to share with you an example to show you real world how you can go from 100 visits a month to 500-600 visits a month once you get your conversion rate optimization, get your mobile optimization, get all that dialed in from a website perspective. And then here's, just a snapshot of some of those results. The perfect number of leads for a smaller company like this, not looking to scale, great cost per lead, and then an incredible ROI and revenue potential with a modest close rate. There's the really endless what you can do when you get this stuff dialed in, and you may not be closing at quite the same rates, or they may not hit that revenue all the time, but the results have really spoken for themselves. And then so before we dive into the nuts and bolts and we start looking at real world examples, just kind of real quick for me, post in the comments, what are you most excited about as it relates to getting your conversion dialed in? Why is getting your conversion dialed in important for you? Help me out. Let's make it a little more interactive. Want to see if I can get a couple comments in. Let me move my chat over so you can see it a little better there. So increased business across service areas. Yep, absolutely. Expanded service areas, those location pages I mentioned, right? Make more money from your current traffic. Yep, that's a good one, Dave. You're driving all that traffic, you might as well monetize that, right? Getting a better return on investment from the services we provide. Phil says, yep, yep, absolutely. Yep, Ted, yep, yep, thank you. Got that. Yeah. Also, just getting those clicks to call. Yep. Absolutely, Karen. Yeah, makes sense, right? Just whatever conversion elements that you can work on are going to make for a better optimized website, going to make for better conversions, going to make for more phone calls. More phone calls equals more opportunities. I see that, Michael. Yeah, just getting more opportunities, more at bats at the plate, right? So yeah, I appreciate you guys engaging with me on that. It does make it more interactive, makes it a little more fun. Todd just said increased profits. Duh. Yeah, exactly, right. Higher return on investment. That's what we're all looking for here. So awesome there. Really appreciate that, you guys. So let's go ahead and dive right into the nuts and bolts on this, how to really optimize your website for conversion. So hopefully you guys all have the conversion download printed out now. You can follow along with that, make some notes. Here's that link again, just in case, but it's a nice little worksheet that you guys can track along with today. Make some notes because I always find when you make notes, you're going to come back to that. If you just sit and watch, you're probably not going to be as engaged. You're probably not going to go implement those things today after we get off this workshop, or maybe never. So, but this worksheet lists the 12 critical elements for maximizing website conversions, as well as questions to ask yourself on whether your website is actually set up to convert at the highest level possible. I want you to be able to take this and implement it in your real world business and start to get results and start to increase lead flow and really close more jobs. You're not in on this train just for the fun of it, right? You came on because you want to have your website converting better. And so this workbook will really help you track along and get better results. Um, so go to the website really quick, download this and print it out for even better tracking, and let's jump right into it. And so, the number has grown over the years, but there really are 12 critical elements that I like to look at and think about in terms of conversion. I'm going to walk through them kind of at a high level. We'll go through each one of them, and then we'll look at some examples of really how this works in the real world. First, I want to make sure that you're speaking to your ideal customer avatar. Most remodeling and home improvement websites I look at, they can be very technical sounding, and they can also be lacking in information on what it's like to work with you. In other words, what is your process? What are the steps you go through in terms on initial consultation, the design phase, different phases of construction, etc. They have concerns and frustrations. They want someone that respects their home and understands their vision, but they also make sure they don't get ripped off. They want to make sure that they're going to show up on time and that your communication with them is going to be solid throughout the entire project. That's super important. So you want to make sure your messaging above the fold on your website, the messaging that speaks to their fears and their frustrations, but their emotional triggers. We have that we find that have a big impact on their conversion. That messaging really needs to be front and center on your website. Number two is just making sure that you're authentic. I kind of spoke to that earlier. But by that I mean using real pictures of you, the owner, real pictures of your team, and kind of sprinkle those throughout your website. We found that people want to do business with real people. Kind of obvious, right? They want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And we've split tested this across dozens of remodeling and home services websites that we've rolled out. The ones that have the real pictures, maybe not the fanciest, they don't have to be professional photos. They don't have to be all glossy, pretty pictures, but but the real pictures of the owner and of the team so that they kind of know, that you're authentic. Who are the people they're going to be working with? People, they really like that. That authenticity really resonates with them. It was as much as a 2 to 3 times better conversion because, again, people want to do business with real people. They want to see you. They want to kind of feel like they know you, that they're part of your family now. The part of the relationship is being built. So don't be too corporate with the website. Certainly do not use stock imagery. Use real pictures, showcase before and after photos of your projects. Google also knows that stock photos are stock photos, and when they start seeing those photos across 1,000 different websites across the country, you're just not going to rank as well because Google knows, hey, I can show a better website that's going to have some real imagery on it. And also, where possible, you want to use multimedia and video especially. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. If that's the case, then, video is probably worth 1,000,000 words. Because if you, the owner, can stand up on camera and share more about the company and your passion for helping customers bring their visions to life, that's going to convert exponentially better than one of your competitors' websites with stock images and that kind of say the same thing, that 100 other different websites say. So, let them know what you specialize in and helping, people in a particular area of marketing that you focus on, remodeling, I mean. Some reasons why people choose to work with you. Let them know you're always available to stay in touch, that you'll show up on time. Your guys will be in there on time. Respect your timelines. That you will keep the project on schedule. That you'll make sure that their satisfaction basically is guaranteed. If they can see you and hear you, and you've kind of interspersed that messaging throughout your website, it gives you a massive competitive advantage from a conversion perspective. So you want a website welcome video on the homepage. And ideally, you want videos for each of your services, speaking to each of those services and some of their distinctions. You definitely want to have some type of video that explains why somebody would want to choose you versus the competition. Give them a real reason why, and not just the generic canned stuff that everyone says. Like, what's your unique selling proposition? If you can make that really clear on a video, why choose you, and incorporate that into those videos and those service videos on the other pages, you're going to give yourself a massive competitive advantage. Number 4 is you want to make sure you're leveraging social proof. Anybody can say, we're a great remodeling company, and we're a great home builder, great home service company of whatever type, right? We're awesome. Our pricing is great. We show up on time. We're going to get the job done right the first time. Everyone expects these kind of things, right? And of course, there's something to be said for saying, some of those things about yourself. But naturally, when someone else says good things about your company, that gives prospective new customers the positive reinforcement they need in order to choose to work with you. So the company with more customer testimonials, more great things that are being said about you, that is going to be a reason why customers choose you. You really want to make that front and center on your website, and where possible, you want to make sure those are visible on every page of your website. So that you're leveraging that social proof, bringing that into your website really has a really positive impact on conversions. And there's some basic fundamental things that you can do on your website that really impact conversion rates that get missed a lot of the time on remodeling home service websites, like having your phone number in the top right-hand corner, making sure it's a click-to-call number. But we want people to see it there. That's where people are used to looking for it. This was proven out in some marketing study I read. A lot of times people, they peruse your website very briefly, and then they just make a snap decision to go ahead and make the call. So you want to have that number readily accessible to them. And like I said, make sure it's a click-to-call number, because most of them are going to open it up right in the browser on their phone dialer. So most people are accessing the internet these days from their mobile devices, more so than they do from desktop computer. And so Google wants you to have this easy click to call button in order to provide for a better user experience. That's what's called UX, and that's really what Google is all about these days. Is the user having a great experience when they come to your website? And you also want to share, that there's a web form that people can fill out. Not everybody's is in a place that they're not in a place where they can make a call. Maybe they're driving, maybe they're at a stoplight, or they're at work. They can send out a quick form, but they can't really make that call. But they want to get that consultation, that process going with you. So you always want to make sure that it's really easy for them to request someone to reach back out to them. And there's some things that you can do there too. With once that web form gets submitted, it automatically triggers some automations. It triggers a text to them, a phone call, an email. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. That's some really key stuff I've got later that I want to talk about. You also want to leverage credibility, displaying logos. Yeah, if you're a member of the BBB, or a member of some other remodeling association, these are usually the symbols they recognize, and it will give you instant credibility. And then you want to have those clear calls to action. Make sure there's a clear call to action on every page, each one of your pages. You want to be asking them to do something, to take some action, to call you, to fill out that form, to inquire maybe about special financing, things like that. Just you want to guide them on what they're supposed to do next. It's one thing to get them to your website. Now they need to do something. They need to take an action, and you need to be their guide in that. Make sure the website's mobile optimized as well with click-to-call functionality. Yeah, as I said above, we're finding something like 60 to 70% of your visitors are getting to your website from mobile devices. And so that's more than ever before. And the experience that they have on a mobile phone is different than the experience they have on a desktop. So we want to make sure that the website fits nicely on the mobile phone when they browse it, that they can click on a button and be calling your office and not have to worry about, redialing and things like that. And then this one here, this can have a massive impact on how well or how poorly your website converts. And that's leveraging live chat, because this is kind of becoming a major shift. And we're seeing this more and more in all types of home service companies as people have become more and more mobile adaptive. They're walking around with their cell phones everywhere they go, glued to their ear. They're never not on their phone. They do everything there. So most people would much rather engage via chat or text message at the beginning, just to get the conversation started. We know you eventually want to talk to people, but this can also help you vet people a little more. You exchange a few texts and realize they want a $200,000 kitchen for $25,000. Then you don't have to waste any more of your time. You didn't waste a phone call. You didn't waste a consultation. You can get that going through text. So just kind of really paying attention to how that is shifting in today's world, especially with the younger homeowner who is definitely not doing things the way some of us in the older generations did things. So just really quick, how many in chat, let me know how many of you would prefer, if you had the option to engage via chat or a text message with someone as opposed to a phone call, which would you rather do? Just put text or chat or phone in the comments, and let me see what rolls in here. Yeah, we've got text. Yeah, yep, chat. Yep, thank you, Kathy. Text from Karen. Text from Mario. Yeah, text and chat. That's what we're seeing. That's pretty much 100%, right? That's it's just easy. You're gonna eventually talk to them. We're not saying we're not avoiding that, but it's just so easy to get it going. And for us, that's how we live our lives. I'm the same way. I don't want to call people. Say, I get people say, can I call you later? Not a business call, but and I'm just like, no, like, what do you want? Just text it. Let's just make it easy here. So this is just kind of the way the world is moving. And so just pay attention to paradigm shifts like that. If that's the way you would prefer to do it, there's a good chance your customers may prefer to do that. And like I said, maybe they're at the office, maybe they're driving, they got their hands-free phone device, so they can do that. Hey Siri, text what, whatever. Um, so just kind of pay attention to that, because this is going to have an effect on your conversions. The people that adopt this, they are going to have more success than the people that don't adopt this. And that's really what it's all about. If you can give yourself a leg up, then take that leg up, take that opportunity to beat out your competitors. And then, so we've talked a lot about, just leveraging this chat to a messaging. There's a lot of technology that exists out there for that. There are apps for that. You can integrate Facebook Messenger into your website so that it's actually popping up on your Facebook Messenger. So you're not missing those texts, or they're going to your website dashboard or something like that. The technology is there. You want to be able to provide them that opportunity to book a consultation online. Go ahead and book that call ahead of time by leveraging some of this automation, some of the easy embed codes and platforms that you can work with that maybe even allow them to book right there on the website. Uh, Also, very, very important is site speed. Site speed matters as it relates to conversions, and it also matters for SEO and a whole lot of other things. But if your website is slow, as dictated by Google Page Speed Insights, go to Google, put in Google Page Speed Insights. It'll take you to Google's test tool. This is part of their algorithm tool. Put your website in. It will test you. It will test your website, how fast it's loading. I mean, you can see it's going to give you a grade. You're going to get a D, a C. Are you going to get an A grade somewhere at 90 or above? This is going to really impact your business because people aren't going to wait for a slow website to load, and Google knows this, and so Google penalizes websites that load really slowly. They just go, hey, do I want to give, Google says, do I want to make my customer go to a website that's going to load slowly and frustrate them, and they're going to come back in the results, or does Google just want to put someone high in the results that has a good loading website that loads really quickly? So this is really important. And then, engaging in marketing automation. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this toward the end of today's session. This is really big right now. I just did our last workshop on that, had a really great turnout. Marketing automation is the key. Don't be old school. Don't deny technology. Technology will keep advancing whether you want to follow along or not. But you need to be leveraging marketing automation that follows up with your leads instantaneously. Remember, I said if they submit a web form, automatically they're going to get a text back that says, "Hey, thanks for the web form," et cetera, et cetera. Like, either getting an email, you're going to get a ping as the owner that says, hey, you just got a web form, check it out and call them. You can automate all this stuff and then put them in more automated sequences where you're sending them, projects that you're working on, maybe some case studies, just some really nice things. That all this can be done through automation, and you can continue running and growing your business, while all this is happening. So all that goes out. You can have as many steps as you want. You can have 20 emails, text, all kinds of stuff that go out. Obviously, there's a smart way to do that, not just bombarding them with 20 of the same old message. But this is really crucial, and it will get more and more important. So I hope everyone's really thinking about adopting and really embracing the marketing automation that's going on today. Smart companies are doing it, and we see that with the clients we work with. The ones that have the marketing automation, they are booking more consultations and they're booking more jobs from having more opportunities. So these are really the 12 critical elements that I like to focus on. If you have any questions on these, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can post a comment here. And if I can't get you here, I'll definitely follow up, or ping me an email. Any way you want, I'm here to help. I just want to be able to give you guys the information you need so that you can succeed and grow your business and achieve those goals that you've set out for yourself. And so, my challenge to you is to really take a hard look at your own website and determine what's the one thing that can have the biggest impact on improving your conversions. What will you commit to optimizing and adding to your website? Or maybe it's a few things that we've talked about. That'd be even better if it's just more than one. But even one or two little tweaks to your website could really make a difference in bumping your conversions from 20% to maybe 25 or 30%. That's going to be a big difference in the number of opportunities, number of bats at the plate that you get to take. So, you have all the things that we've talked about, the things there in your workbook, whether it's multimedia, doing more videos, fixing your phone number, click to call, better messaging that speaks to why someone should choose you, understanding your customer avatar. What will you do for your website to get better conversions? I really challenge you to think about that and to implement that. And then, the question from there becomes, how do we optimize our website for conversions in any way possible? Think about all these critical elements and really try to implement any that you're overlooking. Don't sleep on these conversion elements because they really will make a difference on your conversion rate, and ultimately it's going to make a difference in your bottom line revenue, right? That's what we're all here for. We love remodeling. We're passionate about it, but we're not, a 501c charity organization. We actually have to make money. We want to make some more revenue from the work we're doing and the passion and efforts that we're putting into our company. So just think about what you're going to really incorporate for your company that will have you possibly sliding up into Google search results and ultimately getting you some more opportunities to work with. So just real quick, here's another example of a client of ours where we took over, and you can see what their website sessions did right after we optimized their website. Like, that is not a made up graph. That is the kind of what we call hockey stick graph. You're there, and then just boom, straight up you go. That's a massive difference in the number of website sessions, and it really reflects itself in the number of calls that you're getting too. So this is pretty significant. And it all comes down to just optimizing your website for conversions. These folks are driving more calls now. They're getting more website form submissions, and ultimately converting almost 80% of these people into actual consultations now. And the only way you can book more jobs and make more money is to actually have that consultation. So you just want to try to get more and more by implementing some of these elements. And you can see over the last year, these are the number of calls. Again, this is just a graph showing you that these results speak for themselves. And I don't show you this to brag. I show you this because I want you to implement, one or all 12 of these 12 critical elements that we're talking about here. These will make a difference in your business. Getting more opportunities, booking more jobs is going to be the success. And you may get more, higher end jobs, you may get more lower end jobs, whatever works for your company, but it really is going to come down to, what is your message to market match, making sure your message is matching up to your ideal customer, and having that website that's built to convert that ideal customer into one of your customers and not one of your competitors. And so, you're probably wondering, how do I get my website to convert like that? How do you drive more quality visitors to your website? How can you convert more booked appointments for yourself? I have this website conversion blueprint. If you don't have this, let me know and I will send it to you. This is kind of a rough guide for helping you implement some of those conversion elements that I talked about. It kind of just goes through, a lot of those 12 elements we just talked about. This will help you get found more in Google, show you ways to better engage with your site visitors, and then how to really convert those site visitors into booked appointments. And then next, I want to talk about making sure that your message is focused on the right market. It's what I just mentioned before, what we call the message to market match. If you can see your customer through their eyes and know what they're looking for, basically you put yourself in their shoes, then you can craft your message around that in order to increase your conversions. And so, what we're talking about here is understanding your ideal customer avatar. It's crucial that you understand your customer and what is driving their buying psychology. And this includes what their pains and frustrations might be when it comes to working with contractors, as well as their goals and desires. What they want that contractor relationship to look like. And so, I ask you, who is your ideal customer avatar? Because it's going to be different. We got a ton of people on this call, and I know several of you folks that, there's a wide range here of people that really like doing $25,000 bathrooms, and other people are like, I'm not accepting a remodeling job under $1 million. So your ideal customer avatar is going to be very different. So you need to understand who is that ideal customer avatar. What are all their things that make them really tick? And so what we're talking about here, is who are they? They're a homeowner. They usually 35 years or older. They're into the world of home ownership now, obviously, and they can either be male or female, but typically seems to be the woman of the household that drives a lot of the decisions when it comes to a remodel. This is where dad knows best and just lets the process play out. Like I like to say, happy wife, happy life. So a lot of the times you're going to be focusing on the woman of the household. There are other factors that are going to come in, like your income threshold, where they have kids, the number of bedrooms they need. Do they need a rec room, playroom in the basement for those home additions, basement renovations? You also want to think about their pains and frustrations as well. Maybe they've had a bad experience with a remodeling contractor in the past. Maybe they can't even get a contractor on the phone due to companies being too busy and not answering their phone, which is very prevalent nowadays, which is shocking but true. Or just not having a good follow-up process in place for follow-up sales, follow-up phone calls. That's really common as well, and that's what kind of comes to that marketing automation conversation. Or possibly they're just worried about excuse me, what they're envisioning is not really possible within the confines of their current home layout, even, or maybe their current budget. Maybe they just don't have realistic expectations, and some education from you can really help with that. Other things that are probably going through their mind are the fear of being ripped off and overcharged, or maybe it's the inconvenience and interruption of their lifestyle while a major innovation is taking place. And then on the other side of the coin, what is really driving their decision to move forward with a home renovation? Is it because their home is finally gotten to the point it needs an upgrade, or do they just need more room? Maybe they're looking to increase their home's value ahead of an upcoming sale. What is it about their proposed renovation that will give them peace of mind? Now, understanding what is exactly driving their decision to remodel, it's really key for you to understand that and then base your messaging and your dialogue and your whole conversation around that, like being a good listener. We hear that a lot, right? And so then it's critical that you're crafting your message around those factors. You want to be able to promise them ease of scheduling and getting the job done quickly and on time. Conveying straightforward pricing is important as well, ensuring them that their price isn't going to double by the time the project is done. And then, of course, they want to know you're reputable. In other words, you're licensed, you're insured, you'll pull the necessary permits with the city, and then you have a great reputation within the community and all the other clients that you work with. Another critical conversion element, and I talked about this earlier, it's just being real and authentic. When it comes to being genuine and standing out against most of your competitors, a key element is just showing who you are and having pictures on your website of you, the owner, as well as your other staff member, maybe some of your craftsmen, the team that you've built. That's what people. It really lets the customers know who you are, that they're not just looking at another website or some stock photos of people sitting around a drafting table. They want to know that you're great at what you do. They want to know you're great at customer service. You guys all got smiles on your faces. But you really want your website to stand out by putting yourself out there. Whereas a lot of your competitors, and I see this all the time, a lot of people that come to us as new clients, one of the first things I do is I go to their about page. It's the first thing I look at. It is the second most visited page on a website, by the way, the about page. It's the first thing I go look at. Do they have a good about page? Are they telling people who they are? And if you're not, that's one thing that you can fix right now. It's one of the first things I would prioritize. And then, speaking of putting yourself out there and building your brand, here's another thing I prioritize, and that is there is really no better way to let the customer get to know you than just getting on a video. Seeing the company owner in a video on their website, there's no better way for them to get to know you, know your passion for helping them create the home of their dreams. We always encourage a homepage video that welcomes site visitors to the website, but also then having those other videos on your service pages, and so that you can talk about kitchen remodeling and maybe 3 bullet points about kitchen remodeling and how you guys understand it better than other companies, or what really makes your design process better. Just anything that you can really share with them about your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, your passion, and of course that's going to stand out from the other competitors. And then the added benefit now, video is that it converts at 8 times the rate of just having a bunch of text on your website. We all know that people like to watch videos way more versus reading hundreds of words of text. It's really the reason why you hear about cat videos going viral. It's just a lot more fun, right? And then to state the obvious, your company's reputation matters. I think we all know by now how important it is to have a great online reputation, plenty of reviews from happy clients to show how committed you are to doing a great job, offering great customer service. The one thing you also want to focus too is getting reviews on as many review sites as possible around the internet. Reviews left on your Google business profile page are obviously the most important. I think we all know that. But in order to achieve the best review rating in terms of Google's algorithm, Google wants to see that you have reviews on other platforms as well, such as Facebook or Yelp or yellowpages.com, and lots of other sites out there. Google's scouring the internet for those, just so you know. So the more reviews you have, the better. Social proof these days plays a critical role in establishing yourself as a market leader. Obviously, no one wants to do business with a company that has a bad online reputation. And then also make sure you're replying to all the customer reviews on Google through your Google dashboard, and Google notifies you with an email though, so there's no excuse not to reply, and not to reply quickly. Same day. We do the same thing. We get a review, I go on the same day and I reply to it. So make sure you're doing that. That's another action that Google sees you taking from your Google dashboard. So that's another ranking factor. How engaged are you with your own listing, in other words? One thing you also need is to make sure that you're showcasing your reviews on your website via testimonial page. And just writing text and putting someone's first name and doesn't really count as a real review. There's no way to really verify those. It could be anyone or no one that actually left that review. So the way we do it for our clients is that we import their reviews from the various review sites out there. Has a little logo that shows where that review came from, so people can go verify it. Then they know that they're reading an authentic review written by a real person. Again, authenticity matters, especially when it comes to social proof like reviews. I think most people know by now, but having a mobile-friendly website is crucial these days. Your website really needs to be mobile-friendly. That's one of Google's ranking factors. So that really comes into how fast your website loads on mobile. Is it mobile optimized? We know that more people are accessing the internet via mobile than desktop. And so have do that Google PageSpeed Insights test, make sure you're passing. If not, then have your website developer fix all those things that are holding you back, on the website. For it to load a lot quicker, because that site speed matters. It matters for your customer and that user experience we talked about. That customer having a great user experience and staying on your website because they're not waiting for a website page to load like it's 28.8K dial up back in 1993. So that's, no one's going to wait around. The average human attention span is about 7 to 8 seconds, about the same as a goldfish. So think about that when you look at that grade that you get on your Google Page Speed score. You really want to make sure that it's loading quickly. And then, I mentioned the click to call phone number on your website. Google wants users to have that great user experience, that UX. And so that's factoring in. Google wants to know that you have a click to call phone number that everyone can readily call you with, typically up in the right-hand corner. I know every now and then someone likes to be different, maybe be cute, put it somewhere different, maybe in the upper left, maybe on the sidebar somewhere. Everyone is just kind of trained to look in that upper right-hand corner and click up there. So just do what they're trained to do. Don't try to be too cute here. You're trying to make things easy. You're not trying to really stand out from the crowd and with a neon sign that says, "Notice me." You're saying, here's the number. This is where it's supposed to be. Click on it. Let's chat. Let's get this conversation going. That's the most important thing. And then one conversion element that's growing in popularity, that I was talking about before, is live chat on your website. More and more people are choosing to chat via text message or having that Facebook Messenger integration to your website that I talked about. Remember we did the raise your hand in the comments earlier. It was almost 100% chat and text. It's just quicker for a lot of people to get that conversation going, to get that consult scheduled. Maybe they don't have time to get on that long phone call. We just want a conversation starter. We'll take it to the next level after that, but just get that conversation starter going. And you can start vetting them through that as well. See if they really are your ideal customer, that they're not looking, for the bargain basement job, things like that, that I know pretty much everyone on here is not really too interested in. You're not, offering that race to the bottom pricing. You guys are all high-end designers, developers, remodelers. This is a good way to start filtering out people through that quick messaging. Giving people that chance to open that conversation without a phone call, it's only going to keep growing in popularity. So why not get ahead of 90% of your competition and be ready as this paradigm shift just keeps continuing into our industry? It's already really big in the quick hit kind of things like plumbing and air conditioning, where people are just like, I just need someone to fix my toilet now. That's really growing big time in chat. Excuse me. And there are many ways to set this up too, from Autobots with predetermined questions and answers, live chat operators standing by to handle inquiries. That can be a little expensive, probably not cost efficient for remodelers who don't get that many inquiries. It's not like you're getting, the 8 calls a day like a plumber would. And then the messenger bot from Facebook, that's always a good one. It allows you to engage right from your phone. It pops up on your messenger on your phone, and now hey, you got someone. Now you could just start chatting with them. You can even just say, hey, do you have time for a call right now? And then they say, oh yeah, might as well. There you go. That chat just got you that phone call. So, our CRM is set up with this capability, so that it allows direct engagement via Facebook, via text text messaging comes straight to me and another person on our team. And then we can auto trigger some stuff from that as well. So, it's all this engagement and possibilities, the automation, leveraging that automation that's really going to truly set you apart from your competitors and help your website stand out and really to help the consumers have a much better user experience. Remember the old saying, first impressions last a lifetime. And so we kind of went over the 12 critical elements to optimizing conversions on your website, being authentic with pictures, videos on your website, showcasing online reviews that are verified, as well as getting the basics in order. Click to call phone number in upper right, having a web form for customers to fill out, adding credibility to your website by use of association logos and similar. You also want to make sure you have relevant calls to action on your website to get people to call you and book that estimate, maybe even offering a discount for certain services, maybe for a seasonal offer, maybe discounts for veterans. I love doing that. I love working with veterans. And don't ignore the growth of live chat and giving the customers that opportunity to book online as well. That's really huge. And so, everything that we've listed here, maybe everything isn't an exact fit for your business model, but the key here is to think about whether your website is fully optimized for conversion, and then what elements will really fit for your website. And so my challenge to you is to revisit these key ideas and then decide what you already have implemented on your website, and then which conversion elements that you really need to add. We're really talking about optimizing for conversion here, not necessarily setting up for SEO and meta tags and keyword stuffing and all that stuff. We're trying to just increase conversions here. And so, pick 3 of these elements in the next 30 days, even sooner, maybe maybe you get bored over the weekend before the holiday hits. Just, make an effort to implement them on your website, make a short list for yourself and just make some changes. Watch and see what your conversion rates do and see if you do get more opportunities booked. I also just want to take a moment to mention the topic of our last workshop, and that was what I feel really is the biggest problem facing remodeling companies, and that's unconverted leads. We really took a deep dive on this topic last month because it's all these things that you do to optimize your website. Are awesome, but if you don't have a great sales process and an even better process for sales follow-up in place, you're still going to be losing opportunities. And so just a quick review of why your leads are going unconverted. What I'm seeing across the industry and home services is that about 50 to 60% of inbound leads go unconverted. People are calling in or texting in. They need a contract. They're looking for a designer. Maybe you guys are busy or either you don't get to call right away. Maybe there's no follow-up process in place, or it's just one follow-up call and that's it. I hear that a lot. But for whatever reason, you're just not converting your leads at the rate you need to. It's amazing to realize, but around 90% of web forms don't convert at all. It's often said that web forms are where customers enter their name and email address. Those web forms, it's often said that's where they go to die, because that's typically what happens to them. They get lost in the inbox. They might go to the spam box. You're not looking at your email at the time. By the time you start following up with them, that customer's already lined up 1 or 2 people to consult with. You've just lost that opportunity. You could have just lost yourself $50,000, $100,000, $500,000. Like, if you look at in terms of opportunity lost revenue, it might make you think a little bit more about leveraging automation a little more, so you don't let that slip through, because that's what's happening. Basically, leads are slipping through the cracks, and this happens all the time. And you guys probably realize this yourselves. And yep, it's happened to me. Yeah, Phil just said, "Yeah, I'm guilty." Thanks, Phil. I appreciate that. The reality is that with leads, if you're not following up with them within 15 minutes or less, these leads go cold. If you don't have someone calling them almost immediately after they inquire or following up with them immediately after they've left that a voicemail for you, they've moved on to the next company on Google that they found on the list. You are not special, unfortunately, even though I think you are and your family probably thinks you are. But when they just call you because they see some great reviews and they like some pictures, they want to talk to you, but they are not going to wait around for you to call back because frankly they don't know if you're going to call back, and so they're just going to call somebody else, and that company gets the first chance to make that first impression. There's a stat out there that the company that calls back first wins 50% of the jobs. Now, if you think about that, you're going to think a lot more harder on how you can leverage automation to make sure that at least if you can't get that call, they're getting an automated text, they're getting an automated email. You're getting an email to call them so that you can say, oh, what, drop this. I'll call them right now, and I can come back to this plan I was working on, or whatever you might be doing. So don't let them get away from you and schedule with someone else, because inevitably you're not going to be able to circle back around to them. You're not going to get a hold of them. People tell us that all the time. Oh, I called them once, I called them twice, called them 3 times. They've moved on. Unfortunately, that's just, again, we're talking 7, 8 seconds goldfish attention spans here. People want to move on. They want to get this stuff scheduled. They want to get it on their calendar, and they just want to move on to whatever they got going the rest of their day. And then the other thing is that the average customer needs to be followed up with 5 to 7 times before booking a job. As you know, the reality is that people that submit a form, the people that call in and don't book right on the front end, they need to be followed up with. And I would say 99% of those service contractors out there, do not have the wherewithal to follow up consistently and relentlessly with those lead opportunities. You guys are only taking the opportunities that are ready to book right now, and the others are slipping through the cracks for a whole multitude of reasons I've talked about. And if they don't book right then and there, you kind of forget about them, or say, we'll let them call back in and we'll let them follow up when they're ready. It doesn't work that way. The smart remodelers and contractors, the smart home and service companies, they have systems in place, marketing automation in place to follow up with them a number of times to remain top of mind, with case studies and projects and pictures you're working on, retargeting ads. This is where these people they're in that decision-making process, but they're just not ready to convert yet. This isn't an overflowing toilet. This is a major investment that they have to make. So they're going to take some time. You're not going to convert people on that first call. Leveraging marketing automation will help you with that. We talked about that earlier, where today's customer prefers to interact with that via that text message or phone, right? And so if you don't have that immediate follow-up for your leads, you're not following up with them consistently over time, you're not leveraging text messenger or Facebook Messenger, you simply are leaving a lot of money and a lot of opportunities on the table. And so the solution for better sales follow-up is leveraging marketing automation to make sure that every single web form on your website, or every missed call gets followed up within 2 minutes or less, and they get followed up via phone, email, text message. The key is making sure that you automate the follow-up so that every prospect gets touched at least 5 times, probably more. Show them that you're able to engage with them via two-way text, because we know that 98% of text messages are opened immediately and 95% are actually responded to. Those are huge stats. I can't put enough emphasis on those. Essentially, what you do is you build automation into your web forms, where once a web form is submitted, you get a notification that the web form is submitted via email, and then via text, and then also those automations that you have trigger messages, automated responses to go out to that customer so that they get immediate attention, even though maybe they didn't get a real person quite yet. yet, they got a text that said, "Oh, hey, we just got your form," and they're like, "Oh, wow, cool." They know they're getting some love from you already, and they can expect more from it because you're on top of it. These new prospects now they're in your CRM system too. They're already in there, so now they're part of your world, and now you can keep track of them. You can follow up with them. You can run other automations on them, other campaigns. You can set task reminders for follow-up calls. You can move them into your sales pipeline, advance them through different steps of your sales pipeline that you have set up. Hopefully, you guys all have all that set up. And so this just really works great for whether it's web forms, whether it's missed voicemails, because you can we use tracking numbers, so we know that if it's a missed call, then it can send out a text. It can even drop them a voicemail, what's called a voicemail drop. So there's just a lot that you can do with your CRM and automation that just takes all this off your plate. You don't have to say, "Oh my God, I can't do all this, Bob. This is just too much." Get it set up. The hard part is getting it set up, putting the time in. Get it set up though, and it just runs all on its own after that. It's just so easy. You'll be amazed. You'll just be blown away if you actually put the time in to actually do this. So, and then there's drip campaigns that you can get people on the back end to stay engaged with them, have them get your monthly newsletter, show them the projects you're working on, stuff like that. So, just really want you guys to really think about what you could be doing to really automate this. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but just super, super important. And I'm just going to, show you that simple math again, just for simplicity's sake. 100 leads here, and if you're taking your conversion rate, those marketing automations are going out like wildfire, and now you're getting more opportunities, more people to talk to, and so taking your conversion rate from say a 30% to a 70% of just being able to talk to somebody. I'm not saying closing at 70%, although some of you might be able to do that, especially referrals. Obviously, close at 90, 95. 100% even, but just really bumping up that conversion rate. The amount of money that you can make here, it's kind of obvious right here, right? If you can go from 2.2 million to 5.6 million, who wouldn't take an opportunity to really advance their revenue by just putting some automation in place? I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to double or triple your income, but I guarantee that you will get more opportunities. You will get more at bats at the plate, more people to talk to here. So we've seen this time and time again. This isn't pie in the sky dreaming. This isn't theory or anything that we saw on some TV show. This is real world. Put automation in place. You will get more opportunities. So just really want to hammer that home so that you really think about that. There's a lot of folks on here. I know you're not using leveraging automation. I'm not going to call anyone out, but I see a couple of you on here. So you can raise your hand if you want and show me. Anyways, just having a little fun there. But what this does, it makes every lead that you generate more valuable. So take this seriously, implement this technology in your business, into your CRM. Even if you just book one or two more jobs, that could mean an extra 50 or 60, $100,000 in revenue for your business, or for the guys that do the big jobs on here. I mean, and one more job could be another $1,000,000 or 500,000. So, that's pretty significant when you think about the impact that can make, not only on your company's growth, but how that's going to impact you, your family, your employees, and their families. Like, there are so many things, so many dominoes that are going to fall just by being able to book one or two more jobs. So I really encourage you to really think hard on this. If you have any further questions, just don't know how the heck to even start looking at this, to analyze what to do or whatever, just reach out to us directly. I'll help you. Or watch the marketing automation that we did, a webinar that we did last month. That's up on YouTube. We ran a little over here. We're getting, so I want to kind of wrap up here, but just want to let you know, reach out to us if you've got any questions at all. We're here for you. Just want to thank you for your, time and attention. I really appreciate this, that you guys being here. I hope the training was useful. Let me know in chat before you log out. Let me know if this was helpful for you. Let me know if you're going to implement, some of the suggestions I offered. I really hope that you do implement something. If you want to reach out to us, you can book a discovery call with a strategy session. We'll kind of let you just know where you're at. We're not here to sell anything at all. I got nothing to sell you today. Just want to help. But let me know if we can help in any way. Otherwise, that's it for now. I really appreciate your time and attention today. Thank you for the engagement. A lot of you folks on here, Phil, Michael, Karen, Mario, Kathy. Thanks a lot for all of your engagement throughout. Look forward to seeing you again on next month's webinar workshop, guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and everyone have a great holiday next week. God bless America.